And I'm George Papianis, and we're bringing to you one of our Facebook Lives. This is really one that I think is going to be particularly special because we're going to be focusing our attention on what's happening in education, but more specifically in girls' education during the time of COVID. It's been a challenge for everybody, from educators to students, but in particular, we feel that there is an important need for us to give more focus on what's happening in girls' education. And we're also doing this as part of a larger event that will be happening later today at the UN General Assembly, available virtually on our YouTube channel as well, in which we will be talking about what the Global Education Coalition has been doing. And we'll hear more about this UNESCO creation, which has brought together various elements from the private sector, the NGO sector, and the international community to really deal with the issues of education. So that's going to happen later, but we're going to talk a little bit about some of those issues today and right now. I'm really excited about the fact that we have with us Aurora Richaud. Aurora is a 15-year-old girl from Mexico, and she has been studying from home since about the end of March. And it has been, I think, a fairly difficult time of kind of getting used to how things are in a new way of learning, which is sitting alone in your home, along with all of your other friends and classmates, sitting alone in their homes, trying to follow a teacher on a screen that's not much larger than what people are seeing right now. That's fine when you're doing a Facebook Live, but for educators and for students, it's a bit of a challenge. Aurora, I'm really pleased to say welcome to our event. For us, it's really an important to hear from you. We're joined here also by the Assistant Director-General of UNESCO for Education, Stefania Giannini. And so tell us and tell our community, what's it like being at home and trying to learn? I think we're having a little bit of a problem. Aurora, can you hear me? Because we can't hear you. And yet we were listening to you just a few seconds ago. So let me see what the story is. Our technical team is going to be working on this to try to restore the sound for Aurora. Aurora, I'm going to move to Stefania and have Stefania just give us a bit of an overview about what is the Global Education Coalition, Stefania?
Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, first of all, and thanks for inviting me. Hola, Aurora. Let me say that the Global Education Coalition that UNESCO established at the beginning of this sanitary pandemic crisis is about global solidarity. It's about a new kind of partnership. It's about giving solutions to countries which were and still are very much in trouble as they have to decide to shut down their education systems all over the world. At the peak of the pandemic, UNESCO started to monitor the process and the evolution of the crisis since the beginning. Maybe you remember, we had 1.6 billion students out of school because of COVID-19. So the idea from us and the initiative was, let's call for action our partners, traditional partners, which are our sister agencies in the UN, but going beyond that. And this is about putting together in the same room, of course, a virtual room, as we are today sitting, some 150 partners coming from the private sector, coming from civil society, coming from international organizations, with a clear mission. Learning must continue. Continuity of learning for us has been, from the very beginning, the more important mission to be accomplished. And after 6-7 months, I should say that the coalition, will explain a bit later in a meeting as a side event of the General Assembly UN week, we can say that countries has been listened to. We started from the needs they had, and we could give quickly solutions and put the lens on some critical topics like gender divide, like the risk of girls being dropped out after the crisis and within the crisis itself, and many other issues that I can maybe explain a bit later.
Okay, then let's hear a little bit, I think, from our guest, Aurora Richaud, who is 15 years old, a student in Mexico. And Aurora, how has it been for you trying to stay engaged, trying to learn under these conditions that have been created by the COVID-19 pandemic? Go ahead, Aurora.
Maybe
can you hear me? I think we may be having now a difficulty with audio. Go ahead, Aurora. You are talking, but again, we seem to be having a problem with your audio. We really need to get you into this conversation very quickly. Let's have the technical team again try to remedy this situation. And while we're doing that, I'm going to come back to you, Stefania, just to give us an idea of why are girls more vulnerable under these circumstances of the pandemic.
Yes, for sure. We have some lessons already learned because of other crises we see in the past, recent past, like Ebola, for instance. And we can say that from this evidence, we know that girls and young women as well are particularly affected in the face of prolonged school closures. And you know that in the case of Ebola, we didn't have a shutdown system and the closure of schools for months. And still, we really don't know which will be the evolution of the crisis. So for many girls, let me say, schools is not a simply place of learning. Of course, it's an important, the critical mission, but schools and education are lifelines, I should say a bit like this. Schooling offers a safe environment, nutrition, protection from sometimes difficult families' backgrounds, violence. So all these issues must absolutely be taken into account when you put the gender lens on this crisis. And then the gender digital divide, which is still something not only in the south of the world. So I think that ensuring girls continue learning is about giving Aurora and all young girls the right to education, to give the right to make a choice, to empower them. And as we say at UNESCO, her education is really our future.
Aurora, welcome back. And so let's hear from you a bit about your experiences learning from home.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. Beautiful.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
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 Please. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can hear you.
Thanks. Well, as I was saying, we started the last days of March, the pandemic type, and it started with the virtual classes, and we were like, everything was disorganized because anyone was like ready for this. So I think in my school, everyone was like confused. Classes weren't like as well as natural as it will be. So we started using platforms like Meet or Zoom and Classroom to use like the homeworks and that kind of stuff. But I think everything was like too hard because the teachers wasn't ready. We wasn't ready. So everything was like too bad. we can like learn the things we needed to learn, and yeah, it was pretty hard, I guess. Yes.
And you were
Um,
also
well,
isolated
I
from your
think
friends as
then we
well.
go from mission, and then when we come back to the school, like, yes, we can go to see our friends, or we can go to the mall. So we only can go like to specific places like hospital or shopping. We can go to get food, like in a restaurant, or go to the mall with our friends, and even go to the school. We can't do that.
And
So I think it's pretty hard because we need to get like 40. Yes.
how is it that you then see now that the situation in terms of distance learning, which you are doing, has it improved?
Well, I think after the vacation, the teacher in my school like get prepared for teaching virtually. So I think they like get classes or something like that to learn how to teach us pretty well. And but this is in case on a private school. But I know people that are friends or family which are in a public school that maybe their teachers don't have the same learnings of how to teach like virtually, and they don't have the same opportunities as maybe in my school. Yes.
Tell me a little bit about something that you've actually been
um,
participating in, which
I think
is,
pretty much it.
well, what I was going to ask is about Technovation, which is something that you've participated in, the UNESCO Technovation IdeaLab, which is something that is a result of the programs that are coming out of the Education Coalition. Tell us a little bit about this Technovation IdeaLab. It sounds exciting. I mean, just the name alone.
Well, I think I met Technovation because I knew someone who works there. Then they invited me to work before the pandemic, but I never be able to do it because I live in Campeche and they are in Merida. So I like the opportunity. Then be able to participate. So well, it started like something for fun. Like it pretty much. So yes, and I think it's cool because the mentors there or the people who are teaching us, and they are very like prepared, and they see if we are doing it well. They give us like tips and that kind of stuff, and it's pretty good. I think I pretty like it.
Can you tell
Yes.
us a little bit about what kind of things you're doing? Give us one example about something that you've done at the UNESCO Technovation IdeaLab.
Well, one example was that we learned how to tell platforms of intelligence or artificial intelligence. We teach it how to do things we want, like yes, we teach her to give us prognostics and do the things we needed. I think we learn how to um, prepare an artificial intelligence model. So it was pretty good. Yes.
Were you working on something that had to deal with helping deaf students learn? Was that one of the projects that you were on? That sounds also very interesting.
Actually, we were learning of the bad things like in the world, like the issues. So everyone can choose one. I was employed of the pandemic, but I think some of my teammates issues related with the student and that kind. But yes, so we can choose one issue globally. Yes.
Stefania, we've got potentially as many as far as our UNESCO estimates are concerned, 11 million girls potentially who may not go back to school this year because of the COVID-19 pandemic. That number is almost hard to even conceive of when you think about it in terms of all of those young women. And what does that mean for us as for our communities, for them and for their communities, and everything has a domino effect.
Well, to put it simply, in my opinion, it means a huge part of that generational catastrophe that the UN Secretary General mentioned on the 4th August this year, presenting the policy brief on COVID-19 and education. I mean, if you lose additional 11 million girls, in addition to 130 girls still out of school because of some other economic, cultural, social constraints, it's really a big issue for the entire world, especially in some regions where the problem is much bigger. But let me say, we are doing something. This is the problem. We have some solutions or suggestions to find a solution. UNESCO with UNICEF, UNGA, Malala Fund Plan International definitely organized an interesting, in my opinion, Girls Back to School Guide. That it's something, a short publication which provides step by step what has been done in order to avoid this part of a generational catastrophe. And I think that what Aurora is telling us, I find really very interesting, the issue of artificial intelligence, tech innovation, and so on. So it's a bit, the power of transformation that sometimes crisis offers to us. I mean, a crisis is a huge problem, but if you find a way to put in practice innovative solutions, like this tech innovation experiment or initiative, then maybe you can find a way to go beyond the limits we had before. So I feel a bit optimist about that.
I have to tell you both that I've been checking what's been going on in the public chat of our conversation. In other words, people who are watching us and their reactions. I just have to thank those people who have been following us through Facebook as well as YouTube, because we have, I can tell you, I have never seen anything like this. And I've been doing Facebook Lives with UNESCO since I think they were introduced by Facebook. And now we have also the YouTube component. Literally, we have people from Malaysia, Peru, Pakistan, people following us from Bangladesh, from Ghana, the Philippines, from Monaco, from Marrakesh in Morocco, from France, from Costa Rica, Japan, Nepal. The list just goes on. The world is interested in this issue and knows that it is a tragedy in the making if we do not do something about it. Aurora, I'm so excited that you've been part of this conversation, because I want to give you the platform one last time just to kind of share your thoughts about your future and what you want to achieve in your life.
Well, I think in my future, I'm in, I think, ninth grade of middle school. So I need to be started to be prepared for the university. I wanted to do something about math because I think I'm pretty good in it. I the math are like the future of the world because I guess they're in everything. So I think, well, I hope this pandemic get expanded to university and that. But in case of more homeschooling, I think I everyone is going to like get it's going to be different. It's going to be more like I don't know. We need to get prepared for it. So I think yes, I wanted to do something great in my future. I mean, like I want to be someone good at whatever I do. So
That's great,
I
Aurora.
think
Absolutely, that's great.
that's
I want you to know that I think your dad is watching, and he just wrote in the comments, "Proud of you, Aurora." I think Stefania and I would certainly agree with that. You're an amazing young woman, and a real pleasure to have you with us. Just taking a look at some of the other comments. I have someone joining us. I'm not exactly sure from where, but Wilson says safety education should also be part and parcel of modern education systems worldwide. That way, school children can learn and be taken care of early in their lives and become competent and problem solvers, professionals, teachers, the whole thing that we expect from our next generations. Some wonderful other comments about people giving thumbs up and sharing really a very positive and encouraging us to move forward. And with that, Stefania, last word goes to you, because we are moving forward just in about an hour or so from now, I guess. In about an hour from now, you're going to be busy participating in the Education Coalition event that's taking place as part of the UN General Assembly. Moving forward, tease us a little bit. And I also want to let the audience that's following us know that you will be able to follow the UNGA UNESCO event on the response to COVID in education coming up at 4 o'clock Central European time. That's going to be at 10 a.m. on the East Coast of the United States. Do your calculations as to where you are in the world, but I do encourage you to be part of it. And give us a tease. Tell us what we can hear coming up in an hour from now.
Well, I hope we have a lot of people interested to sit in this virtual global room to listen to our stories. We'll talk about concrete examples from north to south, from east to west, where this coalition in a startup mood. I know that it's a bit difficult to imagine the UN system moving and acting like a startup, but it's like this, I can assure. I will tell you later, giving solutions and giving or contributed to what Aurora said. Let me conclude like this. I wish that, Aurora, we can contribute just a little bit to your ambitions, your dreams that I love so much, become a real concrete achievement in your life and all teens and all boys and girls through education, quality education, because it's the basis for everything.
Well, Aurora, I think you're a superstar.
well, I think
Go ahead, Aurora.
yes, talking. I'm sorry.
No, by all means, I contribute. Stefania, thank you for that.
No, I'm sorry. I understand that.
Oh. No, but I just want you to know that
sorry.
I have Justine here saying we need more girls like you, Aurora, to shape the future and the world that we want. Hats off to you. Felicidades coming to you. Somebody has created a new hashtag. Lupita says hashtag Team Aurora. This is about your story, Aurora, being a story about girls everywhere. And Stefania, our engagement is about being there for girls everywhere. UNESCO, girls together for the future of our communities, our planet. This has been a wonderful conversation, one that I've enjoyed immensely. I hope that our community has. It seems so. Again, have never seen anything like it. Indonesia, Cambodia, the UK, people from all over the world making comments, saying hello, and wanting to be part of this conversation. And I do want to let everybody know, be part of the conversation. Leave your comments on Facebook. Join us on our other social media accounts, on our Twitter account at UNESCO, Instagram, also our Instagram UNESCO account. You can be part of this conversation. We're going to be talking about it a lot today because of what's happening in New York. And do join us on YouTube in an hour to see what's happening at the UN General Assembly. Hashtag Team Aurora just pops up once again. Oh my goodness! I think we are really on the right track. Thank you so much, Aurora. Thank you.
Muchas
It's been great.
gracias,
Muchas
Aurora.
gracias. Muchas gracias. And good
Thank
luck this afternoon, Stefania Giannini.
It was a pleasure.
It was a pleasure having you. And Stefania, good luck this afternoon, our Assistant Director-General for Education, who's going to be at the UNGA, along with our Director General, Audrey Azoulay. So we're pulling out all the big guns for the UN General Assembly to talk about education, to talk about girls staying in school. And we want everyone to be part of the conversation and to share and to work with us to achieve this goal. Thank you all. We wish you a great day. And thanks all the people who joined in the public chat for your wonderful comments. You have really given us, I would say, a real kind of jump in our step. So until next time on Facebook, I'm George Papagiannis saying goodbye for Stefania Giannini from our ADG from UNESCO's education sector, from Aurora Richaud. Thank you so much. Wishing everybody a great day wherever you may be, and keep girls in school.
Yes.